Pamela. So far, we have answered all questions up to 2.1.3, and I'll make sure that all these videos are under the same folder. It'll be DBE November 2023, paper 2. So you will find all the videos to this question under that folder. Let us do 2.1.4. It requires us to calculate the cost of the wastage of raw materials. Normally, to calculate the cost of wastage, they will tell you how many raw materials were issued to production, which they did give us here. And then they will ask you to calculate yours. And you will notice that yours will be different to the one that they gave you. And if that happens, then the difference is wastage. I need to emphasize that wastage happens in the production, not at the warehouse where we keep the material, but wastage, the fact that they said wastage, it happens in the production plant where production is taking place. And so far, we know that we issued 18,900 worth of raw materials to production. And when you read further to C, under additional information, I'll go to C. They gave us obviously our direct labor cost, which will not help us. However, that Roman figure number 2, where they say number of t-shirts manufactured was 15,000 units. And since that is the actual number of t-shirts produced, I need to figure out how much raw materials was used to produce those 15,000 t-shirts. And according to this, which is under raw materials, this note here, I don't know if I asked you to highlight it in the first video, but just highlight it here. We use 1.2 meters of fabric, which is our raw materials, to make one t-shirt. So to make 2 t-shirts, we will use 2.4 meters of fabric. So how do I get that 2.4 meters? If I'm making 2 t-shirts, I will multiply them by 1.2 to determine the number of meters of fabric used for those 2 t-shirts. Similarly, to determine how much fabric was used to manufacture 15,000 t-shirts, I am going to take that 15,000 and multiply it by that 1.2, which will give me 18,000 meters of fabric that was used. However, we issued 18,900 meters of fabric to production. That means 900 was wasted. And to get the cost of wastage, it works the same way as when we're working with inventory. You will take that 900 and multiply it by the average price. Okay. And when you take this 900 multiplied by the average price, my question is, how much is the average price? Do you still remember? It was calculated earlier on. The average price was calculated in 2.1.1. Please check out the first video. So it was calculated as 47 Rand. You will take the unit wasted or fabric wasted and multiply it by the average price of 47 Rand. And the cost of wastage will be 42,300. Now, for 2.1.5, Mark is concerned about the increase in the cost of raw materials over the financial year. Provide two strategies that Mark can use to address the problem of wastage. Now, the first thing that I thought about is what I've been seeing in the TV channels that I've watched, where you find that employees are taken advantage of to manufacture certain products. They don't work in good working conditions. And if you don't work in good working conditions, there's a high chance of you making a mistake. Another thing, another reason that will lead you to making a mistake, it is when you didn't get a thorough training before you did the job. And you also don't get continuous training as you are doing the job. And you might find that most of the staff that we hired that are manufacturing these t-shirts don't have experience. So they will make mistakes. Even if they do have experience, you might find that the employees are not properly monitored. So that will be the responsibility of the factory manager or the line manager and the foreman to ensure that their supervisors, or if they are the ones supervising, that it is done thoroughly to minimize the chances of employees making mistakes. Now, if an employee continuously makes a mistake, does that mean they have to be fired? No, you take them through training, okay? And once you've taken them through training, they shouldn't be making mistakes. If they continue making mistakes after you have trained them how to do the job and there's no improvement and they make mistakes due to negligence, maybe that's when you can take the next step, which will be taking them to disciplinary hearings and ultimately get rid of them. But you need to make sure that you develop your employees. I know some of you are thinking, fire people. No, that's not the solution. You first make sure that people have proper training and proper channels have been followed. Okay. And that's what I would have written, okay? And you can tell when you read this what is originally mine. So I can say that all of these were originally mine. And once I started marking myself, I picked up important points as well that I actually never thought about. Because recently, guys, people don't, we don't cut by hand now. We use machines, we use technology. Maybe you must use better technology machinery or order pre-cut fabric. Or probably the fabric that you're using is not of good quality. So every time you try to cut it, it tears off. Okay. So you need to make sure you buy materials so that have a better quality and also ensure that your machines are regularly maintained. As such, I've also included it there. Make sure that your employees are regularly trained. It doesn't have to be every week or every month, but there needs to be constant training for your employees. Once a new machine is introduced, employees must be trained on how to use the new machine. I hope that makes sense. And for any valid strategy, you will get 1 mark. Okay. In the next video, we will be doing 2.2. And yeah, be on the lookout for 2.2, which is still under cost accounting. Hotsong again.